you ready? Like this? My name is Victoria from the Ferry House.
Welcome to the Cherrywood podcast with me, Rachel Burridge.
And the delightful and exquisite Simon Burridge. Right, welcome Victoria from the Ferry House, which is on the Isle of Sheppey. Now, personally, Sheppey gets a bit of bad rap in my eyes.
That was a real bad opener. I thought we were going to be a bit nicer in the intro, but yes, okay. I'll let you have that
Sheppey
one.
does. No,
I
said it gets a bad rap in my eyes.
It does get bad
But
rap.
every time I drive through there, I'm like, I wouldn't mind living here.
It is
so nice.
It is nice, and the people are really nice, and it is lovely. And the part that we're on is kind of right by the water. It's through all the farms.
Beautiful.
It's completely different. It's like everywhere. There's good bits, there's bad bits.
Exactly.
We're in the really, really good bit.
Before we go in any deeper, how long before the sign falls off?
Is the time starting from now?
It's as soon as we come back from the...
Okay.
So a couple of seconds, about 30 seconds time.
I don't know, we're 4 minutes.
That's probably not a bad shout, actually.
I feel like it's looking all right at the minute.
So much confidence.
Yeah, no.
So we're going to go to our sponsors, and when we come back, the timer will start. So we just go to our sponsors.
Today's sponsors are De Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snug Dubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk. And we're back. There we go. And before we start talking to Victoria, we just want to say that we're sponsoring the Pride in Medway Awards, and we're going to be judging one of them, right? Which is a bit crazy. They're mad. So clearly desperate to ask us to judge. So we're going to put a little bit of an advert for the Pride of Medway on at the end of this podcast. All right. So, all right then, Victoria, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do a positive thing now.
Right.
Let's go. Ferry House.
Well, me.
Do you own the Ferry House yourself? Is it a family business?
Yeah, it's a family business. So me and my husband, and my husband's in business with his 4 brothers. They've got the Ferry House, a farm, and various other sort of agricultural businesses. So we're kind of the odd one out a little bit. And we run the Ferry House and have done since the year 2000.
Wow.
So
nearly 25
it's like we know what we're doing now, I'm telling you.
And so I've only ever filmed there, I would say, of course, 5 to 8 years ago is probably the first time I filmed there. So how long have they been doing weddings now?
Since about 2005. So yeah, for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but more seriously in this kind of last 5 to 10 years, been sort of more the focus, definitely.
So what's the history behind it then? And what's the background behind it then?
Behind the pub itself. So originally, Alex, my husband, started the pub with his mum. She was a farmer's wife. She'd had 4 boys. They'd all grown up and gone and done other things. So she wanted something to do. She's an amazing cook. So she took it on. It was in a very dilapidated condition.
As a barn?
A pub. No barn, just the pub itself.
So there is some history behind the pub. How old's the pub?
Yeah, the pub is 16th century. So yeah,
right,
it's beautiful.
okay.
It's such a lovely building. It's got a lot of history to it. And then they ran that for a little while as just a kind of eating, drinking pub. And then they built the barn in 2006. And that's when they started doing the weddings, really, when they got the barn.
Right, 2006.
So, yeah. And we're about to build our second barn in 2026.
Well, funny you should say that, because I just want to compliment you guys. Every time we go and film there, it's been improved.
Different.
It's different every time.
It's amazing.
I don't think when we originally went there, the hotel was there or the rooms were there as such, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's
that was
beautiful.
2019.
Yeah, that was just
The bridal
above.
prep area and everything.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
We're getting there. I think it's a labour of love, and I don't want to say it's something we'll never be happy with, because we are very happy with it, but I don't think we'll ever be done.
Oh, no.
There's always going to be something every year.
I think that's the only way you can be successful when you're
Keep
a wedding
going with
venue
it.
is just keep going.
Yeah, keeping it fresh. It keeps it exciting for us as well. We're always looking for the next thing. What are we doing next? Now what have we got to improve? And that just keeps it moving forward for us.
Right.
So what do you think the best feature of your venue is for bride and grooms out there?
That's a good question.
I'm going to come up with one for you.
The view.
Seclusion. I like the fact it's away from everything.
It is away from everything, and it does feel like another world when you go down that road. And no, it is quite a long road, but the views are amazing. The wildlife and everything. It's almost like you leave behind a bit of civilization as you go along.
A bit of that sign dropping off.
Does that count?
It doesn't count.
Okay, that's right.
Well, do you know what? I will make a note of that little noise that hit the ground, which is a bit of plastic.
Okay.
And if it's around 4 minutes, which isn't going to be far, you never know.
Never know. Could be in its minute. Anyway, sorry. You do. You leave a bit of civilization behind as you go down that road, and then you get there. And for a lot of people, especially when their guests come, they've never been there before, and they're going down this road, and they're like, "We're going the right way." You know what's going on. And then when they get there, like, "Oh my God, look at the water!" And like that's really special, I think.
Because I do like going down to the water with the bride and groom, sort of like just sunset. And you think,
golden
this is
hour.
amazing. And it's perfect.
I think it's good because not only do you get the really lovely images and everything and the shots and the footage then, but I think for them, it's getting away for a little while just on their own. Because otherwise the day is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
They don't get that opportunity and as well, obviously, physically where they are down there, they literally turn around and look at it all and they can see their guests having a great time. It's like, oh, they're all here for us, and that's a really lovely.
Because I think you did a bit of footage from the last one we did where we were following the bride and groom up, and then you went over the venue and everything sort of just lit up,
Drone,
didn't it?
by the way. I'm not flying.
So disappointed in you.
I'm a superhero videographer. So
then
we
all
let
the
them have a
lights
time.
turn
We
on
let them have a
Oh,
moment just walking
nice.
down there. We stand back a bit. That is gradually falling off the wall. So we let them just have a moment by themselves. I will follow them with a drone rather than be next to them. Just let them have a chat, and that's it's always great footage. Always.
I love it.
Put them on the edge by the little pier there. There is a pier there.
It's
isn't
like a
there?
little wood jetty.
You haven't got to worry about that
It's got to
anymore.
be 4 minutes, surely.
It might be slightly past 4.
Darn
Just
it.
slightly past.
But
I think the water side is a really big draw. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, it's a concrete jetty. Right.
Oh, right, that's it.
they go
I was
on.
trying to remember what it was like, but it's always lovely panning around them.
It's beautiful. Get seals come up there as well sometimes.
really?
Yeah, and just bob on the walls. They don't come onto shore, but they just bob every now and then. It's just really lovely. Yeah, it's special.
cool.
It's nice.
But you've got, because some venues only deal with outside logistics, don't they? Like some venues, but you've got inside accessibility as well. And it isn't just one room. You've got the pub, you've got so many different nooks and crannies that you can take bride and grooms, and even the big groups as well to do their photos as well. So it isn't just a...
See, Rachel's thinking from a photo point of view.
Because you do need that.
When they say the venue, we think, what's it going to be like when it's raining? That's immediately what we think.
straight
because
up.
it's England, isn't it? So you have to.
Or when it's dark, we do a lot of winter weddings.
Yeah.
Unless they get married super early, by the time they get to pictures and everything, it's dark. So all that inside stuff is so important. That's what we always try and think of every time we redecorate or we decorate an area. We're trying to look at the light, how that's going to come out in pictures. Is it interesting enough, but not too busy, things like that. So
Do you guys get like a designer in for these sort of things, or do you?
So we do a bit of both.
Yeah.
So for our rooms upstairs and then some of the downstairs stuff, so like the garden lodge where they get ready, we use Nick Austin Design from Sheerness. Really great. Nick and Graham are amazing, and we've worked on them not only at the pub, but they've helped us with some personal stuff as well. They're really, really good, and they get us. And also, I like dealing with them because they're very to the point and straight up people.
Okay.
Like if I don't like it, I can say I don't like it, and I don't have to feel uncomfortable. It's great.
No, that's fair enough.
So
Saves
they've
a bit
done
of
a
time
brilliant
and
job.
money.
Yeah, definitely. So they've done a really amazing job there. And then some of the most of the sort of downstairs areas we did ourselves. A lot of it, to be fair, what we learned from them, from understanding how they put the rooms together and thinking, okay, and then all the soft furnishings they do for us as well.
Oh, brilliant.
Really great. Another local business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shop local.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Because you bring a lot of your, is it from the farm that you grow? You bring a lot of your food in from there, don't you? Which I think
so we've
is
got,
brilliant.
at the main farms, we've got a beef herd. So all the beef comes through our farm. And then all the game we shoot on the estate. So all the kind of duck, partridge, pigeon, pheasant,
Any
rabbits.
fresher than that, couldn't you?
The miles, you won't get better miles than that. We literally shoot it on the estate and bring it in, and we've got a butchery there, and we butcher it ready to go. So you won't get more eco-friendly, and you also won't get a higher welfare bird than that because they've never been caged.
No, that's right.
They've
Yeah.
always been free.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can be quite reluctant to try a game, or if they've tried it before and had it done badly, which is quite common, puts people off. But we're seeing now a lot more people are brave and try, or if a wedding, so our weddings have a 3-choice menu. Right. So sometimes they'll put a starter on there or something because they know people can then choose it and have a go, which is really, really good. It's great. So
so you've got a bride and groom that are interested. What is the process? Take us through like your normal process of
giving you a call.
Yeah. So our website's really good and has loads of videos and pictures. So I think that's first of all key for them, obviously, to be able to see plenty of stuff. And then when they make an inquiry through, they get the prices, they can inquire about dates. But the most important thing really they got to do is come and view. All our viewings are sort of personal viewings. We do showcases as well where they can have a look around, but even on the showcase they can book a one-on-one tour and go around and talk to the girls. We've got a really amazing team of wedding girls. They'll show them round and talk to them, call them girls, they're all like there too, but ladies, they're fantastic, they're amazing, they're really massive credit to me and the business. They're just fantastic at making people feel really comfortable. That was what the goal always was. We always wanted to be people's special place and it to be a really special venue, but wanted them to feel really at home and feel really relaxed as soon as they arrived and not feel it was either a bit pompous or they had to, watch what they did or anything like that. We just wanted them to feel really chilled out, and the girls do an amazing job of facilitating that.
I think what helps with that venue as well, because you've got a bit for the kids as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got
not many
area.
venues have.
Yeah, we've got play area, and we always recommend, depends the age of the kids, but quite often we recommend they get something like a white bouncy castle or something like that. Happy kids is happy parents, happy guests, happy wedding.
Absolutely. But I think I like the side of it, like the personal side, because you can go to a venue and you can have all these open days and you can look around it and they can do it up. But we know some venues put on open days at certain times, so it is less busy. And we know that some of them, like, it gets too busy. So you don't ever get, if you've got, I call them stupid questions, like little tiny questions that you think, how would they do that? Or where would they put this? You can just ask on a personal one-to-one. You can then sit there and go, right, okay, I envisaged this. Can you make that happen? And you can say, absolutely, or how about doing it this way? And it's that personal touch, I think
the personal thing is really important. So although, we're obviously they can pop in whenever, but they have their wedding meetings as well, which are private meetings between them and the person from the wedding team that they're dealing with, which to me sounds like a really obvious thing to state, but I was mortified when I was talking to a couple who actually transferred to us from another venue when they said our meeting had loads of other couples there. I was like, what? I was like, how does that even, what? I can't even compute that information.
So those silly questions that you say, they'd be too afraid to ask them.
Absolutely.
Or, if there's certain characters at the table that are dominating the conversation, it's just not a thing. Like, it's your day. So I find that really strange. But the girls do everything really personalised. I think there is a really fine balance between having us as a venue and staff having processes that have to be done in a certain order to make sure that everything is perfect, and being able to then flex and make that bespoke to a couple's needs. And some people like to do their planning really, really early because they want to get it all done and then they can chill. Some people are so chill, and then after getting near the time they panic, so then we've got to really pick them up and take care of them at that point. So it's finding that balance between offering a really personal, flexible, bespoke service, but one that is really experienced, really professional, knows exactly what's got to be done when to make sure that everything's perfect.
So do you have girls there that are sort of almost wedding, what am I trying to say? Wedding coordinators as such? So you have dedicated staff to say, right, you're in charge today.
Yeah. So we have wedding coordinators, then on the day they have a wedding coordinator and a wedding assistant, because there's certain points of the day two people are kind of
long
required.
Day as well.
Yeah, it's a long day.
There's usually overlap with most venues.
Yeah. These two don't. The girls then will be there from arrival all the way through to the evening. Wow. So they do a long day. They do an amazing job. And the couple will have always met them before. Yeah. So the wedding coordinator, they will have always had either their last meeting with them or their decor drop-off appointment, so that they know who they are and they know everything about them. I think when people go and get married, quite often they expect and have in their mind that they're going to deal with one person all the way through. And that's sometimes what people ask, well, can't I have someone right now from the beginning all the way to my wedding in 2 years' time? And our answer is always no. Because what I don't want is for that person to be sick, to have had a baby and be off work, and you are completely panicked because you don't know anyone else. You've got to know everybody in that team. And equally, we all want to know you. Because, you know, I've had a situation before where a staff member was very, very poorly and taken to hospital. I had to pick up that wedding that morning. And although I'd never met the couple face to face, I was completely relaxed about it because I knew who they were. I knew everything that was important to them, because that sounds stupid, but different things are important to different people.
Course,
about their day, everyone thinks, oh, it's their wedding, it's all the same stuff. It's not.
It's not at all. They're all different.
So knowing those things, I felt completely comfortable. And in the morning I said to him, you know, obviously my name's Victoria, I'm here to run your wedding. I know you don't know me, but please relax because I know everything about you. And it was fine.
So you have a sheet of facts?
Yeah, we have. They have a file. They got an app, got everything in there about them down to, and we ask questions as well, because at the beginning of someone's planning journey, it can be different to what it ends up being in the end. It's a long period, obviously. So nearer the time, about halfway through, we ask for feedback on how they think their wedding planning is going. Is there anything we can do for them better? You know, what's the most important thing about their day? And for some people, you know, it is the ceremony. I want that perfect picture of us. I want this, I want that. For some people, it's like, do you know what? I want to get the bit I have to do done. I just want to have an amazing party and this band's coming, and that's what's really important to me. So straight away we know, right, got to be on it with the band and make sure they're ready on time and like all of that. So all those things help.
Nice. Is there any memorable weddings that you think, oh God, that was a good one, or we had a fancy dress wedding or something really random?
I did one, I can't think it was last year or the year before now, which was amazing because culturally they did some stuff that was new to me, which I really enjoyed. So the groom was from Cyprus. And he got brought in by all the guests. I don't know if you've ever seen this done before. I've never seen it on this scale. So it's a massive wedding. It's about 170 people. And we were getting ready for the ceremony, and they were all there. And I went out the back to check something. And then I thought, right, I'm going to get him back now and sit him down with the registrar. And I went out and they were all gone. All 170 of them. And I remember thinking, like, I was like, really panicked. So, oh God, where are they? Went out to the car park and I could hear this noise. And he was being brought in by kind of like fiddlers and traditional music. And they were all in a line and he was at the front and all of the guests were behind him. And they were bringing him to the wedding. It was amazing. Wow. It was amazing. And 170 people is quite a lot to get sat down on time and all that. It was just incredible. They all just went and sat down. And I was like, wow, I like this tradition. This is very cool.
Sometimes
it can be herding drunk cats.
Absolutely.
I think the other one that was really lovely is I've done a couple of double weddings, but I did one double wedding that was two sisters. And that was just very special because they also decided to throw in that it was a surprise double wedding, which was fun. So one was getting married. I think she was actually renewing her vows. It's a long time ago. I think she was renewing her vows. And the other sister then, surprise, was getting married, and she'd been with her partner forever. And I think people thought she wasn't going to bother. But because they were such a close family, that I think they decided, well, look, everyone's here anyway that we'd want here. So let's just do it. And that was really cool. Surprises normally make me very, very nervous. But that was good.
Oh, that sounds good. So nice. So what's the capacity? How many people can you actually hold?
Yeah, because you said 170. That's quite a lot. That's a lot.
170 is a lot. That's bigger than average.
It's scaring me. I'm thinking.
You're just thinking of group shots.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they did one. With the new barn, we'll be able to seat more than 200.
Wow.
In various different configurations. Usually sort of around 100 is where we're at normally.
So
but
where's the location of the new barn going to be?
Where I've got my event suite now, that's going down on the 1st of October next year, and the barn will be in its footprint.
So it's
basically
where
the event suite.
So you've got like the bride, the bride room here. Yeah. It's literally here, isn't it? And it goes up the back that way.
So you go through the barn to get to it at the moment. So it's quite a lot of change. So that is going in there. I'm having then toilets put where my current bar is in the barn, and I'm having a bar put in the other barn, and it's all going to be a lot going on. But
so you're going to have to shut the venue down to do that?
So we're going to continue doing weekends for the restaurant.
Okay.
While we go through that winter period, and then we're going to, from the 1st of April 26, when the barn is open, we're going to then just become an exclusive when an event's venue.
Because I saw that online quite recently.
I think it makes sense. A lot of people come to us for a special occasion. That's why they're coming. We are people's special place to come, which is fantastic. So we decided just to focus on being that. And we still do meals. We're still going to do pop-up restaurants. So, if we've got a free date that's like a Friday night or something, a couple of months before, we'll open it up for a pop-up night, which I think will be popular.
That's better than just waiting for people to turn up, isn't it?
It's hard. Where we are, people don't pass. No one's passing for a drink.
Right.
Let's be realistic. So
even if there's a sign on the main road, it's a good drive before it gets to you. Yeah.
And what we've put on, the chef really wanted to push the quality of the food, which is amazing. We were in full support of. It's not your everyday food. It's not your, I just decided to go out and have a quick bite for dinner. It's not that. It's somewhere you plan to go and it's special. Absolutely. So we've just decided to commit to that and make it that.
Because we've done that a few times, haven't we? We've been, it was my uncle's 80th last year, and we went down there.
That's what I mean, it's that kind of occasion.
Yeah. And like you said, the kids were outside playing because it was July, and it was perfect. It was lovely.
Yeah, and I think it really works for that. We do that really well. Not that we don't do the restaurant really well, but it's just, the other problem is there's obviously the conflicting sides it can be of those two businesses. It's difficult to kind of balance.
Because how it must be a bit of a juggle, because you've got like someone inquiring for a wedding, which is quite expensive, or someone inquiring for her 80th birthday, which isn't going to be as expensive, but you've got all day or maybe 3 or 4 hours. So you've sort of got
from a business point of view, you do have to be really guarded about your dates. So we have just a release policy. It's unlikely a wedding's going to book less than 3 months before. We do book them short notice sometimes, but not usually, and usually they're pretty flexible on the date. So normally at 3 months before a month, we just open that calendar to whatever we want at that point.
Right.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it works well.
So is this what you wanted to do then? Sort of growing up?
I was going to say, where did you start out?
Nothing like this. So when I was younger, my parents had a petrol station and a digger hire company.
So where are you from? Are you from
originally? I'm from Halling.
Right, okay.
So more this side, Sheppey side,
yeah.
So I worked with them on that till I was about 21. My mum died when I was 16, sadly. So kind of helped my dad through that process of closing the business down. And then he moved abroad and I moved in with my sister. Very lucky to have an older sister who's been very supportive in my life. So I moved in with her. And I actually I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go to university. I'd done my A-levels and I'd been working, so I didn't want to do any more education. So I trained as an eyelash extension technician.
That's handy for what you're doing now, isn't it?
Right. To be fair, at the time, it was when they were they weren't really a thing.
Yeah.
So they were mega expensive. So I just thought, I'll go and do that. And I had horses, so I thought I can earn enough to pay my, cover my bills and have my horses. Yeah.
That's a 24-hour job in itself.
Yeah, it's not great. So I did that for a while. And then I met Alex and he asked me if I would come and help out. And that's where that is.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end of that.
That's how they always get you in. They
can you just give me a hand?
I only married her because she was a photographer.
Handy.
Nothing to do with the looks, obviously.
Let's grow the business. Would you like to get married?
So that's how I ended up doing that, basically. It's been a big learning curve for me. I think when I was dealing with more kind of builders and stuff like that, obviously the language is very different and the customer service and the customer care is very different, but I do love it. I do enjoy it. It's not been without its struggles and it has been hard, but now we've got to where we are now, it's good. So yeah.
So what would you say the most challenging thing about the job or about your role is then?
Now, not too much at the minute, to be fair now, but obviously when things like COVID happen, that's pretty serious and that's on me then.
How did you cope with that? Because obviously everything had to shut down, right?
Yeah, so the night that pubs shut was the Friday night when he said at 5 o'clock, I remember very vividly, that's it, pubs are to shut. But he never actually said anything about weddings or wedding venues. So it threw a lot of confusion in the air. And I had a wedding the next morning and the bride was already in, she was staying over. And I thought in a minute she's going to pick the phone up. She's going to ask and I don't know. I've never not known. I've always been in control and I always know exactly what to say to somebody because 9 times out of 10 we've had an experience of it before and didn't know what to say, which is not great. My husband was in Norway at the time, dog sledding. Of course he was. Once in a lifetime trip with his mum. And I hadn't been trying to bother him, I sort of rang him a few times, checked in and just said, look, there's some stuff going down. It's a bit weird. But
Norway.
I would have divorced him.
How do you think I feel?
But no, so I think that was the first night. I remember that was the first night I'd cried because I was like, I don't know what to do. And I just picked up, the kids were about 2 and 3. I just picked them up from nursery, left them in the car, get out the car and listen to Boris obviously waffling on and sort of cried because I thought, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Then the bride the next day, I have to say, that year we were meant to do 105 weddings.
Wow.
And out of all of them, bearing in mind she got the least notice, she was amazing.
Wow. So
I remember the pair of them, she just found out and really didn't even get confirmation of exactly what was going on till really late in the day. And I remember that they had cakes. Obviously, they had all the cakes.
Yeah.
She donated them, I think, to the local hospital.
Oh.
Like, she's just amazing, really amazing. Got into crisis management then. They weren't all like that. But most of them held it together incredibly, and some of them understandably were really distraught. But it was a strange time. So I've got an amazing head of sales and events who has worked for me for 10 years. She started as a waitress, has gone up to doing this kind of selling the weddings, and then now she runs that whole department. And I have very little to do with it. And we just sat down and said, right, if this was us, what would we want?
Yeah.
And what I wouldn't want is nothing, no communication at all. That would stress me out even more than someone saying, like, I don't know what to say. And also we decided that, and one thing that we followed throughout the whole sort of 2 years really of it all was that emails can obviously be read very differently by very different people.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're in that heightened state of despair, stress, all of these things going on. So on that first day we emailed everybody and said, we're going to call you all in date order so it's fair. Bear with us. I don't think I've ever spoken to that many people in that space of time. Like, it got to the point where actually you just had to walk away for a little while and have a break because you'd been on the phone to people crying for hours and it was horrible. Yeah. It was so horrible.
You know, they've been planning this perfect day for 2-3 years and then you're the one that's telling them, actually it can't happen.
And a lot of them at that point, because it wasn't clear, were like, well, you know, you could be wrong. Like, we could be going ahead. We could not. And I was like, but I don't think we are. But obviously I don't know for sure. And it was made a lot more difficult in the beginning by not having a concrete no.
Yes.
Especially when there were some places up and down the country that were going ahead and getting in a lot of bother over it. And we were like, we're not willing to do this.
Well, you
for
could
our
have easily
reputation.
done the next day, couldn't you? You could have just said to her, we could have just got away with it. And
but it's not right, you know, and that's what we felt. So we just got through it. It was hard. We moved all those weddings. And I remember one of the first people that I spoke to, she was meant to be getting married in the May, and I'm pretty sure she worked in the NHS, and she said, I want to push back for 2 years. I said, bloody hell, that's a bit of a extreme reaction. Most of these people are choosing dates in 3 months' time. I think we're going to be all right. And she said, I work in the NHS. I know that this is not going to be right for 2 years. I'm moving that far. And she said, I'll pay to move. I don't care. Just move me. And I remember at the time thinking, she's a really nice lady. And I was thinking, God, I hope she's not right. And then when we got to that 2 years' time and we were going again normally, I thought she bloody was right.
Wow.
She was right. Fair play to her.
Is your backlog sorted now from that?
Yeah, we got all through that I think we got through most of it in 2022. We had a few people who'd moved further out because, of course, they had life plans. They wanted to have kids, you know. So then they said, we're going to have kids now and do it later. And stuff.
We had some people say, do you know what, we're not getting married now. We've just sort of got on with it.
Yeah. A few people do that. A few people get split up because obviously living together in COVID was hard.
So did you just have a busy 2022 and start doing midweeks more? And
2022 was, I think we did something like 100 weddings in 6 months.
Wow.
And it was hell, to be honest with you. It was hell on earth. Yeah. But we just had to get through because they all needed to have their day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was difficult because that was when, obviously, coming off a furlough, no one wanted to work. So that was kind of a perfect storm with that.
With the employees, was that hard?
They were amazing. They found it really hard to step down and not do anything for so long. They found ways around everything. They worked from home. When we were allowed to come in and spread out and stuff, instead of working in the offices, we just worked in the barn, which is huge. Did a few things like that. Or like, you know, we'd say, look, when they were allowed to kind of go to work, but everyone was still nervous, I'd say, well, the venue's empty today. If you just want to go in for a change of scene and work, go in and work. No one there. We had a few employees who were in less than ideal home situations. So they were offered accommodation straight away as soon as it kicked off, because I was like, this is not I know things aren't great for them anyway. This is going to be really not great.
That's amazing to do that.
So I had 3 people that came and lived with us essentially.
Yeah.
Just we got holiday lets, so they lived in there. And we were housing a lot of prison officers actually at the time. Because the prison was struggling because of obviously having to staff and stuff. So we did a lot of renovations. I think everything that could have been painted got painted in that time. We painted the pub. We did everything.
That's why all supplies and that are now through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
I built a climbing frame, didn't I, for the kids?
For the kids.
I mean, all these things that you get time to do. So in a bit of a weird way, once it had all settled a bit and we weren't making the calls to the brides anymore and they were kind of settled with, we basically did standby dates.
Yeah.
And they had like, an A and a B choice date or something like that they could revert to as and when they found out what was happening. Once all that chilled out from a kind of selfish point of view, it was the most time I'd ever spent with my children because I'd worked all through. I'd never took maternity leave. The business wasn't in that position at the time where I could step away. So I had cots in the office. I mopped floors with babies strapped to me, things like that. So having that time at home with them was kind of magical.
Yeah.
But obviously sad when it's so stressful. But
the first summer was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first summer, but when it got to the second summer, we've all had enough now. The summer isn't as good.
Yeah, and the winter was a bit meh.
It's sort of when, yes, you can go back to school, yes, you can go back to work, but now I'm going to put you into lockdown again, didn't they? So it's like, oh God, we've got to go do all of this again. But
I feel like if we got through that, we can get through anything.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of venues didn't come out of it in a particularly positive way.
No.
And I feel at the time, it's hard when we got out of it and kind of reflected. Wish I'd written more stuff down because there was weird stuff that happened and went on that you won't remember and you won't believe later. But I think as a team and as a business, I think we came out of it incredibly positively. So I'm
going to hit you with a curveball now. You're saying weird stuff.
Go on, weird.
Are you going to pub? Did you get any old?
Ghosts. I was going to say that.
Yes,
I was going to say that. Some people think so.
Right.
I have seen like a glass come off the wall once, but no, I don't think so.
You're a bit like me.
Well, I feel like if they were there, like let's have it. Come on. Let's have a chat.
There's a lot of reasons for knocking and things. Stuff expands and contracts.
And we have got 2 cellars. We've got a main cellar and we've got another one under the barn. We don't really go in the other one under the barn. And I don't really know why. As in, it's not great under there. The steps are bad and it's low and whatever. But sometimes I do wonder who's in there.
We do like a most haunted under there.
I did years ago, probably about sort of 15 years ago, I suppose. We did do a what do you call it, like a medium, person, and she was adamant that there was someone in one of the rooms or something, but I don't know.
See, I look out for that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, look, there's a.
We get a lot of people ask, and a lot of people say, "Oh, can we come and do this, that, and the other?" And I just. Yeah, no, not a bit me.
Now, it being a pub.
Get out of my pub.
It being a pub and the location that we was talking about before is a little bit hard for the restaurant.
Yep.
Is it the same? Do you have locals?
For restaurant?
For the pub?
For coming in for the pub for a meal? Yeah, we don't really get people. You get the odd people coming for like a coffee of a morning, but you don't really get people come just for a drink. They're coming to have something to eat.
Yeah.
They've got to, usually speaking. We do get a lot of locals in. Particularly with the weddings, though, it would be more people from further afield because we've got a lot of accommodation, which is quite unusual for somewhere that's not a chain hotel.
Yeah.
So usually for the weddings, we would probably have more from outside of Kent than inside of Kent.
Excellent.
So you're 24/7, aren't you? That you don't really close. Obviously, Christmas Day, I'm assuming you close.
We shut for a week at Christmas.
Right. That's
bang out of order.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? This is one of the things I get most hate about from customers, and I don't care because I'm not opening Christmas. End of. I won't ask.
Some people want to go to a pub for Christmas meal, don't they?
They love it. And I remember once I got a 1-star TripAdvisor review over it, and I thought, you're out of order. Because I wouldn't feed them on Christmas Day.
I'm not being funny. The last thing I want to do is go to a pub on Christmas Day.
Some people love it. Don't get me wrong. Like you do,
I can understand if you don't want to cook and everything like that. Yeah, go to the pub. But we've got children. They want to play with their toys. They want to stay in their PJs.
I think it is different when you've got small kids. I think it's different. But I think I and Alex is the same. We won't ask anyone to do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not working Christmas, so I'm not going to ask anyone else to.
No, exactly.
And I just think you've got another 51 weeks of the year. If you can't, if that week is the be all and end all to you making it or not, I don't think you're doing it right. Is my personal opinion.
Go somewhere else.
So, yeah, I think you've got to change your business plan if you need to be open that badly.
If you were to get married again, when would you get married at your venue then? What is the best sort of time that you would
She's done really well with these questions.
So we got married in September. It was our 10-year wedding anniversary this year, so that was nice.
Oh, congratulations.
Where did you get married?
At home. So we just put a marquee up. We had a marquee put up at home, and there's a church next to the venue. So some people get married in the church, some people get married at the wedding venue.
Yeah.
So we got married at the church and then went home. What time of year? I kind of like a winter vibe, lock-in almost vibes, all the doors and curtains shut, loads of fires on. And we've had a few weddings do that really, really successfully.
Where you are.
And it's been really nice. So a couple in like January, and they got like, old school board games on the table, and they really went strong on the pub vibe. And at first I wasn't too sure how that would work and play out, but they knew their guests and they knew what they'd like. And they had that in the day, and it was a really lovely atmosphere. It was really, and then they went for it in the evening on the dance floor. It was lovely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I like that.
Yeah, and all cosy and sort of like this, and
have a real cool coat. And I think winter weddings, when they're done right, A, are really cool, and B, you save a lot of money.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So what would you say your role is now mainly? So do you do many weddings? Are you front of house of many weddings now type thing?
No.
Just sit there and watch it all happen on the sofa.
My role, God, just ask my direct reports how they probably say something completely different. But no, I think, so last year we had one of our wedding coordinators on maternity leave, and then another one was poorly and things like that. So we had a few things happen. So I had to then step in and run weddings. In that scenario, I would prefer to step in and take over and do that role so that everybody else isn't, as much as possible, is shielded from the extra strain. So I'm always kind of on hand for that and plugging those gaps. But this year I haven't really had to do that, which has been different and nice. So at the minute, I'm just really planning and getting ready for 2026 with the build. We're doing a lot of work to do with that.
So you deal mainly now with the progression of the...
Yeah, and just so Alex my husband is in charge of the build, and he kind of, generally speaking, with that and the coach house, our accommodation and all the stuff we do, he provides the structures and has a plan of, right, I'm going to build this barn and I'm going to get, planning permission for it, and I'm going to do it and all this. And he does that. And then I'm in charge of making sure it works and it sells and it's happy and all that. So we're going through a lot of stuff to do with that, where we're going to be changing and just doing weddings and events and everything from 26. There's quite a lot going on to do with that. And I want to have another really big push on quality of service. I think what the guys already do is really, really, really good. And they have a survey after the wedding, and, they're pretty much always 5 out of 5, but I will always want to look for that next level of what we can give people that is unforgettable.
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So at the minute, I don't work particularly very much in the business, which I actually find really difficult.
Right.
I find that really hard.
That's like your baby, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just those relationships, like a very big percentage of our team have been employed with us quite a long time. So we have a lot. I think it's more than half been there 3 years, and I think it's at least 25% 5 years plus.
Wow.
So all of those guys I know because, I've stood and washed glasses with them. I've helped them housekeep when they're struggling.
And washed them.
No. We're not that. It's not that sort of
Another job.
Yeah, the island's weird and everything, but no. Keep it relatively normal. But yeah, so I struggle a little bit now. I've got new staff that I've known because I've been, I've spoken to them a bit, but I haven't worked with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very different thing. And I think that's how we've always run our business, is that we will step in, and if they're struggling, I will go and help them. And if that means I stand there and wash 1,000 glasses tonight, that's fine. I'd rather do that than have them struggle. And there's nothing that is beneath me, and Alex is the same. And then that gives you an amazing relationship with people that then when they are in a tight spot, they feel really comfortable no matter what their positions. I've had, like last week, someone's messaged me, I'm in trouble, I need help, I need some money because of my car and this, that and the other. And I feel lucky that they feel comfortable to ask me that. I feel like that means that everything is going how I envisaged and how I wanted it to from a cultural point of view.
There,
but it's hard not to have that with new
You've
people.
also had that experience. You've done, like you said, the majority of the jobs in the venue. So you can then, if someone's actually saying, I can't cope with this, you can say, okay, I've been in that position. I know how to deal with this. Why don't you try this, or this? Or they could come to you and say, actually, I'm in this sticky spot. Could I try this one? You can say, okay, I can see where you're coming from. So that's
I
a
think
nice
they get a lot of
relationship
freedom
you've
to
got.
have that. You know, if they think there's a way that something can be done better, I'm like, brilliant, let's hear it. Like, I enjoy that. Changing processes and things like that to try and make it as painless as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think I really necessarily always appreciate that because I've been there a long time, very close to it. But sometimes when they tell me about other things they've had happen in other places where they've worked, and I'm like, huh? You know, and it's funny, like one person that worked for me kept saying to me, I need to take this time off because my son and I need to, I've got to put a holiday. I'm like, can you stop telling me? Like, just, you do your job really well.
Yeah.
I don't
If
care.
you do your job, then
don't have
I'll
to
do
justify
you.
why you
Exactly.
need
Yeah, you don't have to
absolutely.
justify how you. And she said, "Oh well, whenever else I worked, if I was 5 minutes late, they'd be on the phone." Oh my god!
Oh, blimey.
No, I couldn't be dealing with that.
So the catering side of it, will the couples get like a taster session with
Yes.
you guys as well? So
Yeah,
can
they do a
taste all the
taster.
food
Yeah, and we ask them if they want to invite anyone else because sometimes they want to bring maybe parents or bridesmaids, whatever they want to do.
And can they choose, say it's something you guys wouldn't do, maybe a different tradition or different type of food, can they get an external caterer in if they needed to?
I don't do external caterers,
Right.
but we will do bespoke catering if we feel comfortable with it.
Right, okay.
So, you know, sometimes we might get asked, you know, if it's an Indian wedding, can we do Indian food?
Yeah.
And the chef's really happy to do that. But obviously he said it's a little bit like, you know, if you went to India and asked them to do English
Yeah,
food,
of course.
I'm never going to do it as well as they would. So we got to work together and find out how this can work and be what you want, but also be really top class.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do get quite a few sort of here and there bespoke requests for certain maybe traditions as well that, you know, we always had this as a family. We really want to have that.
Would you invite a different chef in for that evening or something like that?
No, my chef's amazing. There's nothing he can't do.
Nice.
Fair enough. She had a guinea pig the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're
in Peru, yeah. And
in Peru.
they came out
I
and
imagine there's much meat on them.
not really, but you can
Actually,
have it.
you didn't eat it,
I
did you?
didn't eat it. We were going to, but we didn't have time.
You ate alpaca instead, you
Alpaca,
evil
yeah.
person.
You can have it fried or baked,
Right.
and it comes out with the head on. And for some reason, they put this little hat on it to say,
Yeah,
"Here's
cheer
the
it up."
guinea pig. Take a photo." They then take it away, take the head off, and almost shred it like shredded duck.
Okay.
And then they bring it back to you, and you can eat it. So,
yeah.
but apparently, it's meant
When
to
in
be
Rome.
like KFC or that sort of brand of chicken.
Right. Other brands are also
That's it.
available. Yeah.
Favourite chicken, all the others.
That crispy chicken from a certain place. But so you can always have that on the.
Yeah, I have not served guinea pig or alpaca. Just going to clarify that at this point.
Sorry about that, everyone.
You're telling me that isn't in your
repertoire.
files?
No, yeah.
Not one of the free selections.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we'd call that a bespoke request.
All right, fair enough.
So what advice would you give to bride and grooms then if they wanted to come and have a look at you or wanted to pick your venue and were still unsure or on the fence?
Come and have a look. Come and have a chat with the guys. And they'll be able to, you know, give you advice. I think there's only so much you can do by looking online and talking, even if it's over email or on the phone. You've got to come and have a look and see how it feels. I think that's the most important thing. It's a little bit like we always say to them after they book the venue, quite often, unless they're having a band, you say the most important thing to sort out is a photographer, but don't book one without meeting them. You know, the pictures can look great, and the same in the venue, the pictures can look great, but it's how your relationship is with that person and how that feels that's really important. So the best thing to do is come and have a look. Don't have to come and have a look for a wedding viewing. They can come and have a meal or something like that. But it's good to come and talk to the weddings team and let us know what it is that you're looking for. And the girls are very honest. If they think there's anything there you said that we wouldn't be able to provide for some reason, which would be unusual, we would say no. I think that over the years we've had a lot of experience, but we like to make people think, I almost like to feel like they want to feel like they're the only ones. Like, I think that's a really nice place to be. And I think a lot of people coming, which still surprises me, feel like we're very inclusive where they go other places and they're not, which I still find this day and age really shocking, to be honest with you. So...
Because you don't want it to turn into a conveyor belt of one in, one out, one in, because that wouldn't be personalised. And I think you guys make that personal aspect of it a really good selling point.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's why as well, like with the team, they very rarely do back-to-back weddings. They have a kind of division between those, so they don't do too many in a short space of time, because otherwise then they do blend a bit and you get a little bit, and you can't tell one from the other. It's much nicer for them to be able to be doing a wedding and then be able to reset before they get into the next one.
I think they almost would
Because
resent
mentally it would be
as
like
well,
a production line for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could get that.
And then the second and third one, they just won't be as
They're not as
bright
fresh.
as they are.
Yeah, they're not as fresh.
Yeah.
I think it helps that even though, essentially we're a package venue these days, we've got a package. Everyone's ideas that they bring are really different. So that helps. So like today, we've done a clay shoot in the morning for all the groomsmen, which was really, really good fun. I haven't done
nearby?
that for a long time. It's actually in front on the car park there. So we do it over the water, essentially.
Is that a guy who's got a
down the
business on the
side.
island that you do that with, or is it your own business, the clay
No,
shoot?
we do it, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Because I've been invited to something on the islands.
There's another one called King's Ferry, which is by the bridge by Elmley.
Yeah, axe throwing as well, I believe.
Oh, I don't do that there.
I'm sure he does a bit of
That's
everything.
good for anger management, though.
I'm sure he does a bit of
I love a bit
everything.
of axe throwing. So that was really lovely because not done that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we might have done one or two weddings like that, in the weddings on the shoot in the morning, but not very many at all. And it was just really nice because it gave the lads all something to do this morning. They had a purpose. They had a really good time. Yeah, it's just really nice. We felt, good about it afterwards. You're almost sending them off. They've had a lovely morning. Like, go get married now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good.
Oh, bless. Well,
Brilliant. On a personal note, I love the fact that we can do a group shot without having to get on a ladder.
yes, I love that. You stand in the barn, you look down, and you're like, oh God, I don't need a ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is a nice place because you can be as creative as you want, can't you? Because you've got the bit down the, I call it like the rose garden, and then the winding path, and then you've got the gazebo bit at the bottom, and you can walk up. And
I like the secret garden around the back, the orchard, when they go on their own. I think that's something that when we put that in, and sort of Alex saying, right, girls, what do you want now? What do you want me to do now? Because what are you missing? I said, well, look, they do go to the water, but we could do with somewhere else where they can just have a minute to breathe on their own.
On the way down.
They can be seen on the water, whereas they can't be seen there.
No.
And I like that. I think especially if you've got a couple who are not particularly who are quite introverted, don't want to be the centre of attention, don't want people to watch them having their photo taken. That's their idea of hell. Going around there is just perfect. And that was kind of the basis of why we've done that. We've had some people go up as well from there into the kitchen garden and take pictures up there, and they've come out really well and been really a bit more quirky for most people's taste, but really cool. Yeah, look really good. Yeah, there is quite a variety of shot possibilities.
Yeah.
I like it when I see a picture and I don't know where it's been taken.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool, but where is that? That's
Show
cool.
me
I
my
like
venue.
that. Yeah. I like that all the pictures look different. I think there's a lot of pictures you see and straight away I look at it, I go, I know what venue that is straight away.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good for their marketing, you could argue. But for me, I like it that all the pictures look different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm into that.
Nice.
Excellent. Right, how do people find you? Website, all that stuff.
Website is theferryhouse.co.uk. And they can get all our wedding brochure on there. Our lovely new wedding brochure with all our new pictures. We've got a new video going up there.
Test for you now, Instagram.
Instagram is there. No, it's Ferry House Hearty. And I've got a separate weddings one
It's
as well.
Ferry
which
House?
is Ferry House Hearty is the main one.
Right,
And then I've got, I think it's Ferry House
Yeah, I think you have got a couple, actually.
I've got two, I just can't remember if it's Ferry House Weddings or Ferry House Weddings
And you
events.
do TikTok and all that same stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest,
Testing you
the
now.
young people do the TikTok. I am not of the age for the ticking and the talking. I don't know what that is.
It's hard to do the job, then do the social media, then do all that, the communication with the couples as well.
Yeah,
it's
a
so
lot.
hard to do.
So I've got the girl who does all of that. So again, lady. She used to be a wedding coordinator with us for, I think she did a couple of years, and then she decided that she wanted to change sort of career and really didn't want to let her go. So she now does all the marketing, the social media side of the marketing for Helen, our marketing manager, and she's really great. So that's been nice that she's
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Right now, song.
Song.
We get guests now to choose a song that they have on our playlist.
Say sing.
Yeah, so
That's
if you
like,
could sing, so-
there's a lot of things I'm up for, but that's not
Some guests usually choose their first dance song or choose your favourite song. We just add it to a Cherrywood playlist. That's all
nice.
we do.
Okay, first dance song is the Lumineers, Hey Ho,
Oh, I know it.
Hey ho.
Oh.
That's my yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
At least he can
I
sing.
think so. Then it was 10 years ago. Yeah.
I know the song.
That'd be my song.
That's a good one. That's not on
That's
the
a good one.
playlist, is
No,
it?
Yeah.
no, we can add
New
that
one.
one on. Cool.
Excellent.
Good one.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
We
you.
personally
so
love
much.
the venue because
Thank you.
for us it makes life easy.
I love it too.
We haven't got to run around everywhere. It's big, but it's also small, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Your guests don't go off everywhere.
And we feed our suppliers nicely.
Oh, you do. Oh, you
we always
do.
get comments on that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
You'll
not
be
having a sandwich.
surprised.
I'm like, no, you're not having a
You'll
sandwich.
be surprised. So we've had sandwiches with the crust cut off before between
like your
us.
children.
Yeah, yeah. 3 finger sandwiches.
Yeah.
All
I
day, all
couldn't
day.
tell you. And this bread was orange and purple and pink, and I couldn't even tell you what was inside it. I couldn't tell you what was inside it.
Can't
I'm
work
not going
on
to
an
mention the
empty-
venue.
Can't work on an
/
empty
venues.
tummy.
But thank you so much because you do look after us very well down
Good.
there when we're down there. So
Brilliant.
thank
Good.
you.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you for coming down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you next time. Don't know what else to say. You would think I would know what to say after about 85 podcasts.
I want to know what time the thing fell off.
Oh, you can worry about that later. You lost.
Oh, what? Don't like being a loser.
Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.